to be inside. It's cold outside. So
Carl says hello.
Hey, Carl. Glad you're with us. So we're going to have a bunch of stuff to do today. I don't know how long we're going to go with the live stream for, but it'll be until we get done with everything. Like we said on Friday, we've got a few things to do. We're going to work on this area right here today. We got everything printed we need to for that. But I'll show that to you, and you probably can see a little bit right here. Got a little bit working over here. We'll show you that here in a little bit when we when we do the tour around. But we have started to print a bunch of stuff off, and I want to work on this. I really want to get this area done right here. So I've got all the I-beams. I just need to pop these guys off of this one right here, which we'll be doing when we get over here to the table. So it's gonna be a fun day. I've been really looking forward to getting to this. And of course, once we get done with it, we'll have to be testing because I'm not sure how this is going to line up with the beams that we have, and I'm going to have to do some bending. So I'm going to be getting my heat gun, and we're going to have it set up. I'm probably going to put it like maybe back here on this, and so I can just bend the inner pieces that I need to bend once I get them glued. So we're going to do this, and then we got the roof. We had the one section of the roof on, I don't know if you can see it, this might not be in frame yet.
Ethan says hello.
Oh, Ethan. But we're going to do the roof over here on the convention center. So we're going to get that glued together today too. Hopefully next time we get together for our live session, we'll have all the rest of these pieces for this tower printed and sanded so that we can build this thing up. It's going to be way up here. So, but I'll show you that here in a second anyway. So I'm really excited about how that one's looking. If we have a little bit of time, well, I'll show you guys what we painted on Friday, the rock over here. It's all dried up nicely. It's blended in well. So it'll cure. It'll keep curing over the next 2-4 weeks, and then it'll really be exactly the same as what the rock was that we had over there. So you guys were here on, if you were here on Friday, you saw us do that. So I'll show you the results of that. So we're doing really good on this. It's really coming together pretty quick. If I have time today, I'm going to take all of my the inserts that I have right here for this building. We'll get them glued inside too, because I'd really just kind of like to start finishing this corner up right here. I have changed a little bit where this is going to get placed. It's not going to come out as far, but it's going to come over a little bit more, and we'll have more of a park setting up here on top. And the reason for that is I didn't take into account all the wiring that I'm going to have for this building. And I don't want to have a whole lot of things hanging down here to interfere with the tracks. Plus, I want to have all the lights underneath here so the tracks are illuminated. So I don't want to bring this out too far. This one, I will take all of the lights inside the building and we'll just go down the back corner. But this guy where he's more square, I would have more of an issue with it right here. But we will bring it out, and I'll make a foundation in here later about the width of this. That'll look like it's the poured concrete all the way down into the ground underneath here. So when we're filming underneath and we have the camera down here, you'll be able to see all of those details, especially when the lights are on. So there has been some position changes, not a whole lot, but there have been some position changes as far as how the buildings are actually going to sit at the very end. So that being said,
Ethan says, sorry I missed your other live.
Oh, that's okay, Ethan. If you ever miss a live, just be sure to go back to our live section and look at the last one. That's the one we just did. They're in order, and you'll be able to see everything that we did on that one, because things are just, we're doing so much now per live session that the whole thing changes dramatically from one session to the next. So do it that way. That way you've got you can get all caught up on everything. It's not too hard to see what we've done and all that. So we will be doing a lot of testing on the engines today. We did do the and I'm going to be testing right here, a lot right here, because as I'm putting these beams in and stuff, I'm going to make sure that we don't have any hangovers and there's no problems with clearances going around the curve thing. It'll all make sense when we get to it. But that'll be coming up here fairly soon, because this shouldn't take us too long to build this right here. Then I'll have to paint it, obviously, but to just get the superstructure done, it shouldn't take us too long. All right, so let's get the camera. We'll do a review of everything that we did on the last one and where we're going to go today, and then we'll get started.
Evan says hi.
Hey, Evan. All right, let me get my glasses here so I can see what you see. As you can see, it's coming around. So this is all gonna, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna build, we have a curved section here that I'm gonna make a curved section right here. Once I glue them together, I'll use the heat gun to make the curve just like this, but there'll be a curved section, we'll have the straight section here, and then we're gonna put a curved section back behind here. Which my AI bamboo is not working when I pull my new white, when I put my new white in. Is it, when you say it's not working, is it actually not, is the filament not feeding, or is it just not sticking to the plate? Because there's a number of things that can go wrong that you just have to do work on adjustments with. And I'll let Gabe kind of talk to you about that. He'll be able to work you through, he'll just write you and answer those kind of questions. Okay, so anyway, so here we've got this big building, which you guys have seen. Here is the new one. Here's what I was talking about. I really wasn't doing a very good description last week about, or on Friday, about how this is going to look. So we have the base area that comes up to here. Then this section right here is going to be 2 more times high. So it's going to be, there's 1 and then 2, and then it's got the tower topper that's going to go up here. This right here goes a little bit higher, half again is high. So it's going to about right here. And then there's a stair step that comes in, even a little bit narrower of a section, that's going to sit on top of this one and go up the side right up here. So that's where this big building is going. So you can see how this is going to look really nice with the station sitting right here, because this guy right here will be standing about this much taller than this one when we get done with it. We'll have this done this week. So there's where we are, and this is what we were talking about. This is the convention center. This is the hotel end of the convention center. We're going to glue these roof panels together today. And then we'll start thinking about maybe drawing out something for where the convention center itself is going to go, because I've got to deal with the elevated track coming through over here too. So I've got some ideas on this I think are going to look really cool. Somebody asked where we got the files for the tall buildings. We get the tall buildings off of Thingiverse. And hello to the person who just said hi. I guess that was, who was that? Zara. Okay, so hi. The files for the tall buildings come off of Thingiverse. If you just type in, when you get to Thingiverse, if you just type in Skyscraper, you'll find them. Now, you're not going to see any that are as tall as what we've got going here, because this building, when you print it normally, it was only supposed to be about this tall. So we've done a lot of modifications to this so that we can get it the height we wanted to get it. Same with this one. This one was only supposed to be maybe about this tall right here. By the time we're done with it, it's going to be like this. So, but you'll see the basic shapes of them, and you'll know which ones we were using. So we'll be a city station with a removable roof. Well, this is the station that we're working on right here. Roof won't be removable, but you'll be able to see in the windows really well and be able to see the interior. Because the station, the roof on this is really complicated. And there's like middle sections that have to be glued in right here with the pitch of it to it. And then we're going to get all that painted the oxidized copper color. So you won't be able to see in that way, but when we get down like this, you'll certainly be able to see all of the interior stuff going on. So, all right. So we're going to get started with this. I got to get this off of here, and I've got to break all of these little guys off because we're using all of these little legs right here on the new. So I'm going to set the camera down for a sec. Let's see, I'll just put it back like this. You guys should be able to see what I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to push this back into here. We have measured this. It's all the right height it needs to be. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off right now. I'm going to back it up. I'm going to be working right here, and I don't want to take a chance of hitting anything.
Ours keeps us high.
Well, hey, glad you joined us. How's it in Florida today?
He says, sorry, I'm late for class. The traffic was bad.
Oh, that's right. You haven't missed much. We're just now getting into doing some deconstruction and reconstruction. So you'll see where we're going with this. We're going to build this whole platform today. But I want to save these. I want to save all these lower I-beams. Just when I paint it, I'll get another coat of paint on there. It's not that big a deal, but it's better than wasting these and just throwing them away. So the first thing I got to do is I just got to pop these guys off. And the reason I'm the reason I'm not using this is when I pop the other ones off the top right here, a lot of them just kind of tore. So all I'm salvaging on this are just these little legs. I've already got these reprinted, and I'll show you that here in a sec. Can with the camera, Gabe, can you look? Is it kind of focused right in here in this area?
It seems to be, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Arski says nice and warm, 81 degrees and sunny.
81 degrees in Florida and sunny. Yeah, it was a little colder today. We're heading into our cold. This week's going to be a big change from last week. Next weekend, our high is 19. So, all right. So this gives me the last of the pieces I got to break off of this. So this, what I'm probably going to do with this is I'm probably going to file this down, do some puttying. I'll break this apart, and I'm probably going to just make this construction site things. Like if I make a construction site out of it, I'll have these like stacked. So I won't waste these either, but I just don't need them for right now. All right, so we've got these.
Darren says, how do everyone?
Hello there.
Jeff says, nice setup.
Well, thank you, Jeff. Glad you joined us. All right, I'm going to put these over on the work table because that's where we're going to head in just a minute. I'm going to lay out the beams because I don't remember which ones are which. I'm going to lay out the beams here so I know what I've got to do. So here are, you can hear them. Here are all the new 3D printed beams that we did yesterday. I've taken all of the supports off that come in here to create the lips and stuff here, the edges. And I've sanded the side that's going to go down really well so that when we're filming and we're looking up underneath, you won't see anything unusual. Plus, if we do we get a little car that has a camera on the front, it passes underneath, I want everything to look really nice because this is all going to be lit up under here. So I've got to find the pieces for this. I'm going to just get rid of this stuff up on top here. All this debris. I'm just going to get this out of my way. All right. So the two long ones, the two longest ones, I had three shorts, three shorter ones, and three long ones. And that is because the back one, that one's really short. Why is that one so short? I'll bet that's the front wall. Okay. Front wall. You have to give me a minute here. I didn't label these things yesterday. Okay, here's going to be the back. Here is the back wall, right? Yep, there's the back wall and there's the middle wall. Okay, so the back wall is comprised of three of the beams because we've got to come from all the way here, all the way over to here. The middle one is right here. So it's going to be these two the two longest ones that we have, these two. And then the two shortest are these because this should be just perfect right about here. Yes. That'll be just fine putting those just like that. You can see that I've kind of spanned the whole length, and what's going to happen is when we get the heat gun, and these two are glued together, which we're going to do here shortly, I'm going to glue this, I'm going to use the heat gun and bow these like this. So they come around and we'll just create a little corner right there with I-beams. So I'm going to get these glued together first. And, well, yeah, because I'm not quite, if I don't glue it together, my fear is I haven't worked with a glue on the PLA glue with heat. So I know it's going to be, I know they get really strong, but I don't know, I may want to do a little pre-bend on this just to kind of figure that out just so it's a little bit. Yeah, let me do that. So what I've got is, this is my heat gun. I got this when I had my artwork and I was shrink wrapping all my artwork to take to the train shows. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set this up right here so you can you should be able to see this if I put this right here.
Gerard says, why not use 3D printing instead of building this manually?
This is all 3D printed. Somebody said, why don't we 3D print this instead of building it manually? It is 3D printed, but because I'm not exactly sure, I wasn't exactly sure on my dimensions right here, I'm having to do it sectionally. So but yeah, everything is 3D printed. Buildings, the whole works. So, all right, so let me get this set up. I don't want this falling over on me. So this cord is kind of cold. This room didn't get that warm last night. So, okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this guy and I'm going to just start to work him kind of right here in the middle. So this doesn't get that loud, so I should be able to hear questions and stuff. And all you got to do on this is just It doesn't take much. I mean, I can already feel it getting flexible here. You can already see it. It's already starting to do its thing here. Now we'll just put this right here, and I'll just start bending it, and I'll just let it sit for a sec, and I'll do it again here in just a minute. I'll just start figuring out where I want this. The rest of the bend will be taken. Oh, that air feels nice. This cold room, that's really good. There's moving on me though. Yeah, it's already starting to shape nicely. You just work it kind of quick. You don't want it sitting right over the top for very long. I'm gonna let that kind of dry like that for a second. And where this is underneath, you're never gonna see it anyway. I'm not too worried about it. I just need the shape, is what I need at this stage. I need you to stop moving on me. There we go. Okay. So that comes from right there to there, and it's nice and flat. I am gonna have to probably just cut some of this back a little bit. I've set this back a little ways like this right here so that I can put my loading platform in for the passenger trains. So from the beams out, this is all gonna be styrene right in here. I'll custom make styrene to fit this area right there. All right, so let's see if we can get this one to kind of match. We're gonna have to bring this over and end right here. Now, see, this is gonna come up to about right there. And then this guy's gonna be right. Glad I checked that. This guy's gonna be right here to this corner. Okay. I'll just I've got these little end areas that I use for braces for the feet. So that's where I'm holding it right now, just to get what I need to get. Hang on just a second. I can't hear over the heater. We're getting close. I need to bend that just a little bit right there, and I can back everything up together. And we'll be really close. It'll be good enough. I'm almost done with this, and I'll be able to hear questions again. Oh, there we go. That's pretty good. Yep. And I'll tuck the loading platform around the beams, so we're all right on that. And those are both the right sides that I want to have going that way. So then I can glue that together right there. And I can glue this together right here. And I'll actually bring the whole thing this way, a little closer to the edge. Not all the way, because I don't want to take a chance of things dumping off until I get it actually glued into place. So we'll just kind of, there. That'll work. Okay, so what was the question?
Arski just says his weekend's going great, doing the usual mowing. Praying this week I can get my flooring done so I can start the extension on my layout.
Very good. More mowing, but it's good that you'll be able to work on the layout if you get that extension. That'd be great.
Oh. Tracks to N scale says hello.
Hello. All right, so we've got this. I've got my bins here done. We've already got some of the beams made. I'll show you here. I've got those right here. I kind of guessed last night. I didn't know for sure, but I kind of guessed on the links I was going to need. That's just perfect for right there in the middle. And then if they're not right, he's going to print more beams today. I'm going to take my measurements. He's going to print me more beams as we go along, and we'll get this whole area right here done. First step, though, and we're going to take the camera over there, is we're going to be gluing these four sections together, these ends together, and then we'll put the legs on them, and then we'll attach them together once we do that. And then once we've done that, then we'll bring it over and we'll set it in place and we'll start putting the beams across here.
Tracks to end scale says, man, you've come a long way, and he sent a New Year's Eve for 260 joules.
Oh, well, thank you for the New Year's Eve. Yes, we have come a long way. I mean, you can just see right here. I mean, it's filling in quick, and we've already got more. We've already got the convention center going, and we've got another tower we've already picked out. That we've already got some of the prints of it coming. So skyscraper number 4 and 5 will be coming online here pretty quick. Okay, so let's take the camera over, and we're going to sit at the table for just a little bit while I glue these sections together, and then that way I can come back here and we can just start putting beams across. Now, it's not perfect underneath here. I didn't get a perfect curve to it, but I'm good enough with it because, honestly, this is going to have, once this comes up, it's going to have styrene sitting over the top of it. The only time you're going to really see this is if we're filling underneath. You're not going to be able to tell any flaws or errors. And when we have a train pass through with the camera on the nose, you're never going to see this stuff anyway. So I just need this for support, but it needs to look like a building. Just because if we're shooting in from the side, you'll be able to see some of this I-beam work. So, all right, these should have dried. Yes, they have. Okay. So I'm going to put that like that.
Tracks to end scale says, I'm still having issues.
On, what is that?
That's just what he said.
Oh, I'm sorry you're having issues. Is it with the layout or just things in general? I'm going to turn the light on here, and I'm going to bring the camera over, and we're going to reset this up. And I will get this in on the work area. Try to find a good spot here for this. That's pretty good. We'll see what I can do here. There we go. That should be it. That should be good enough for right now. Okay. I'll get this pushed back and out of the way anyway. All right, so you can see here, we've got a bunch of these I-beams. These are the ones that we salvaged off the other. This is how the I-beams come out of the printer. These are my bigger ones that are the major footings. I'll show you. If you've never done a 3D print before, either cut them out or you have to take these supports off. So I just take my little pseudo needle nose here, and I just get a grab on there, and that's put that material down below. We're starting to save all of our leftover material because we're going to get one of those machines pretty soon that recycles it. Recycles the stuff that you don't use, all your supports and bad prints and all that kind of stuff. All right, so there, a little bit of trim, a little bit of cleanup. You always have a little bit of cleanup. And there'll be stuff like right on the insides right here. So I just take my X-Acto blade and I just run it. And that stuff just comes off really quickly and really easily. I should be putting my cardboard down that I use. Oh, it is a good hobby. All right, and then we'll file all that here in a sec. We'll clean this off the sides, but I'll have to do a lot of this here in just a minute. Well, I don't know. It's going to depend upon how many of these I'm able to reuse and how far I can make them go. Well, I'm going to reuse all of it. I'll just see how far it goes before I have to start using ones that we printed last night. Where do we buy most of our supplies? Mostly train shows. If not there, I find a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace and hobby shops. Now this is it for right here. These are the big legs. I'll show you here where this is going to go in a minute. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these two things together. Now, like before, I'm working on wax paper. And the reason for that is this PLA glue doesn't stick to it as much as it does to just about anything else. So I find it's easy to peel off. All right, so I'm going to get these ends here, and I'm just going to make sure they're flush.
Kevin says hello.
Hello, Kevin.
Puja says, I wish I build that or help you to build. It seems to be more fun and exciting.
It is a fun, exciting thing to do. And we're going to have a thing this summer, starting this summer, when we get things actually where we've got our DCC in, and we're starting to do regular runs. We're going to have an open invitation. People can come and they can help build and they can run and have a good time. All right, let's get this flush.
Everybody, anything used, like buildings or logos, etc.?
Somebody asked, we buy anything used? Most of what I buy is used. All of my track is used. I buy it at 50 cents to $1 a section, and then I take 600 grit sandpaper and I sand it all down to get it back to new condition. Then I paint all the ties. I buy a lot of used cars, so yeah, I do a lot of that. All right, so now I've got to see. I did one side here where I really filed all of this really well, so that it'll be the underside, because this is just going to have plastics. The platform was just going to be glued right to the top of this. So I want to make sure one side was really good. So I've got all this done. I did that late last night. So we're going to make that show. I'm going to just make sure I keep that facing down on all of them. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue these two together right here. And then I'm going to glue these two together right here. And then we're going to glue these two ends together right here. And then we're going to go sit up on the thing and see how it fits into the space. And then I'll start gluing legs on.
Boxcar Jerry says, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Boxcar.
He says, what does code mean in track size?
Code in track size is the height of the rail. So the smaller the number, the closer it is to like what real rail is. So code 100 is really tall, thick rail. So 55 is pretty close, and this is HO. 55 is pretty close to what real is. But for ease of, just a second, I'm going to just get this going. For like ease of use, a lot of people use code 100 because it's easier to get the cars on and off. And they track a lot easier. They don't have a tendency like on curves to come off and stuff. So just the lower the code number, the closer it is to what the prototype is, the real stuff is. But there's a trade-off for that with it being. Hang on, I got to get that flat. Trade-off being a little harder to little harder to work with on the smaller code and a little goofier looking on the bigger code. I've got code 80 on the N scale, and I could go down a lot more than that, but I have a hard enough time with my hands and everything getting the cars and engines to sit on 80. So, all right, so that's pretty good. So, I'm gonna make sure that's flat. It is. So that should be pretty. You see how fast this dries, and that's it. That's how fast. Same thing. I like finding glues like that. That's why I use this glue right here. It does exactly the same thing with just styrene. All right, so now we're going to glue this one. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my three big support pieces on. And once those are on, we're going to take everything over and we're going to just kind of set it in place and see what happens.
Steve asks, do you use cork board for under the track?
Somebody asked if I use cork board for under the track. No, I don't. What I use under the track is foam. I either have like the rock sections up here is all foam, and my road bed is foam. It's the Woodland Scenics road bed. So that acts as my sound deadener between the two things. Okay. So now, let's see here. Which side goes down? This side goes down, so this is going to go like this. Well, that lined up really well. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's a little goofy, but my curve is a little goofy too. So the track in there, so it's fine. I'm all right with that. Plus, like I said, you're not going to see this. So let's get this. We're going to put the three on that we have to put on. It's going to go here, here, and here on the underside. These are the legs. Here, here, and here. I'll go ahead and glue these on, and then we'll go over and we'll set it in place and see what we've got. Then if it seems like we're doing okay with it, at that point, then we can start to glue all these little guys on, and then we can set it up in place kind of almost permanently until I paint it, and I can do my cross pieces. And that's these things right here. We have a bunch of this stuff. I'll have to find my sizes. But I already had some printed that are going to be my cross pieces right here. So we're just gonna kind of stagger these and go across. This is what he'll be printing in just a little bit, because then I'm gonna give him my measurements once I establish where I want everything to go. So we're doing pretty good on that.
Thanks for answering my crazy question.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem. I don't mind answering questions.
Carl says this will look like Doug's train layout once
Oh, well, thank you. I don't know that layout, but I'm trying to go for as much detail as I can get. I actually saw a new video posted from the what is that? The City's Edge or the I can't remember the name of that one. Where'd my other ones go? Well, here's one, but where's the other one? He did a more of a tour of his today, and that's what inspired me on mine. Was the City's Edge. Okay, so I got 5. So I got 1, 2, 3. I am going to double up here because there's going to be a lot of weight on this corner on both sides. So it looks like I'm going to have to just use one of my new ones here, and that's fine. So I printed them for, so I don't know where the 6th one of that went. I had a perfect number for all of it. All I'm doing here is getting the last of the remnants of the supports off. Now, I'm gonna have to make a little noise right here because this has we print with a rough side, so it gives me this little rough edge. So all I do is I just Dremel this out. And that's probably an entirely unnecessary step, because more than likely you will never see that. Wherever I put this, like if this was back here, you probably wouldn't see it unless I'm running a train that has a camera on the front. So I'm just building for the future is what I'm doing. Yep.
He says we'd love to get back into this control within close to 35 years.
Wow. 35 years. Well, that's not, I mean, a lot has changed in 35 years. It's going to be a steep learning curve for you initially, but then after you get it, you'll be good. You'll enjoy, you'll be happy you got back into it, I'm sure. I was out of it for about 20 years while doing family stuff.
Well, Carl says Doug's train is a Thomas and Friends themed layout with engines based on their real life engine classes.
Uh-huh.
And the decoration is also based on the TV series that helps out with the layout.
Oh, okay. You know, I've seen some stuff touring the train shows about Thomas. There's some stuff where they've got a lot of like parts of the sets made. It looks really good. Yeah, my son watched Thomas all the time. Okay, so that one's ready. So now I got my 6 back that I need. So now we're just going to glue these underneath, and then we're going to go check over there and see how we did. All right, so this is the bottom. So we're just going to put this like this. I'm going to take this, just do get a drop going. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to center it on the seam. There we go. Come on. So this is what I was talking about with reusing pieces that have had glue on them. Sometimes they like to work, sometimes they don't. And this one is not. I'm gonna have to file that down, get a little more of the glue off. So I'll set this one aside for a minute, let that dry. Hello. I'll just put this one in right here. Okay. All Let's reset this. This is fresh, so this should dry up pretty quick. You gotta hold it for like 20, 30 seconds, and then we're good to go. So, and then I'll let it set for a few more minutes. While it's doing that, I'll file all the rest of the ends of those pieces that I have to use, just to make sure it's all good. Yeah, see, that's already sticking. Yep, okay. So I'll just, I thought I had these filed well enough, but I obviously did not get enough of the glue off. So we will make sure we have this down completely. Okay. And this one. Gotta file, it's a bit of an angle, so I want to make sure I make that flush, flat, make it perpendicular. We're getting a little closer. Yeah, that'll be all right. All right, so let's give these a try. Let's hope that I pulled enough off and filed. I'll be able to pop those on there and be done with this one for right now. So this is going to be really nice. I've been looking forward to having something that I can look under. Trains passing through, you know, kind of like a subway type of a thing. So I'm trying to make this do that. I wonder if I'm getting too much glue on here. I may have to do my dab thing. We'll try that. We'll do the dab thing. Get a paper towel ready. This might be just too much. Oh, definitely too much on that. I got an air bubble inside the neck. So dab that off. Make sure we're good there. Okay.
Did you ask who's reading the comments for you behind the camera? Your side worker?
Somebody asked who's reading the comments behind that's out of the picture. That's my son. He's the one that does. He handles most of the internet stuff, and he also is the one that 3D prints everything. I give him. I find a file I like. I tell him how I want it modified, and he takes care of that and does a fantastic job doing it. And we wouldn't have any of these buildings or any of this stuff like this if he wasn't taking care of this for me. So, all right. Oh, I glued a little bit there. All right, that's those dried well. Okay, so we're going to push this back over here, out of the way. We're getting there. We almost got this one set to go. Then all I have left to do is heat the 3. Once I glue the 3 together, I can't decide if I want to glue all 3 of those at once. It seemed like this was actually a better way to do it, because if I had to do this as one piece, I might really have some issues with that. Let's see, is this dry? That's dry. So now I gotta, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to the other side, where I've never had any glue before. I'll just get the paint off. That'll probably take care of the problem. And then we'll go set this up and we'll see if we can get it to balance. And if we can get it kind of the test here will be is if I get it to balance and kind of come together. And if I can, then we'll come back over here and then I'll start marking off with the ruler. And we'll just glue all of these into place along here. That won't take hardly any time at all to do. I'm just going to make sure I can get everything nice and flush. And then we'll be able to go glue this up in place. We'll glue these 2 sections together, put up there, and then we'll start working on the I-beams across. So this, yeah, we've almost got this thing done. All right, so we'll get that one. That's what I'm going to do on all of these. I'm going to go around and I'm going to do the painted side. So I just don't have to deal with any glue residue. I don't know if you've ever dealt with super glue, but any kind of a super glue seems to be that way. You can't, if you've had to take something apart, you really can't seem to glue it back together strong if you're doing glue on top of glue. So we'll just take care of this real quick like this. Just get the paint off so it's PLA to PLA. Okay, that should be it. Now I'll just take and turn this like that, and just pick one of these out. Make sure it's perpendicular. That's pretty good. Seems to be just a little bit down right here. And I might as well go ahead and sand the bottom where the glue was just to make sure it's going to just sit flush. Okay, let's give this a try. Hopefully I grabbed the right side. I'm not getting messed up with which end was supposed to be up. And I need to see here. Boy, those painted out really nice. I thought maybe it was going to be a bad end from filing from before, but this one really came out good. So, all right, so we'll just do this. Move it a little bit so it doesn't adhere too much to the wax paper. Well, that's already sticking, so that's what it is. Was just taking it and doing the. So I'll just remember that on these is just to do the painted end and get rid of that. So now I'll take and we will put a little weight on the other end like this. Let's see, what do I use? Where's my? I'll just use this big guy right here. Just kind of do that right there like that. Yep. Let's make sure this other side, the glue side, is flush. Put this up here, make sure we're perpendicular. Yep. All right. Plus I'm taking off the excess glue too, which I wasn't doing before. All right, I'm just going to go right here, try to keep this steady. There we go. Like I said, once we get this done to this point, we'll just take it back over there and we'll see how we did. And I'll run the train by it, make sure we're going to have clearances before I start doing all the rest of the work to it, because I don't want to be gluing these little tiny legs on here if I've got to do some more bending. All right, so we're going to flip this around. We're going to put this right here, making sure I remember to go the other way. All right, fine. And I should do it on the other side so it's flush down there. Come on. There we go. Okay. So this is the new end. So let's see how we did. Nice and flat. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead real quick like I've been doing and get the glue, the old glue end, make sure it doesn't have any little blobs on there. So make it so that it will fight standing upright easy. Good. Okay, so we're just going to slide this right to here. And we're just going to, sorry my hand's in the way, but you guys saw what I was doing with it before anyway. So I'm having to work in reverse on this. All right, so we're going to go put this up and see how it is. It should be almost done. Let's take a look here. Yeah, there we go. And it really doesn't matter on this which side goes out, but we'll kind of do it this way. There we go. Oh, yeah, let's go see how it looks in place. Just the test fit right there already looks pretty good. That's not too bad considering I'm just winging this. So, yeah, that'll probably fit that spot really well. Just making it fit to the way the track is. We'll have that on there, and then we'll put the, I'm going to take my X-Acto blade over because I'm going to have to cut some scenery out. Make sure where those beams go in the back that there's nothing from the roadbed or anything back there that's going to get in the way. Okay, so let's put this up. Again, you got to really clean this off really well. I get in the threads, I get all around here, and I get up around the neck, because otherwise it's going to be a disaster. Okay, let me go put this in place and then I'll move the camera over and we'll take a look and see how it does. So.
Varsity asks, can building a train layout count for your income tax refund?
Somebody asked if this could count towards your income tax refunds. Actually, since ours is a business, if I'm promoting anything on here, then yes, I can. Okay, let's take a look. Let me get the. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I've got my clearances right there. I've got my clearances right there. So, and then on top here, you can see right here, I need to carve a little bit out because it's raising this up. So I gotta chip a little bit of that away right there and probably do the same thing right there. So once I do that, that'll fit right in place nicely. Gives me my little bit of edge back so it's not right on the edge. This is all gonna be underground parking right here anyway. So I'm gonna be putting mats down here and stuff and weathering up whether it's concrete or asphalt, I don't know which, but we'll be doing that. So let me put this right back where we were. Has that got that area in view?
Yep.
Okay. So
Sarah says, have fun and keep doing what you love.
Yep, exactly. I agree, Sarah. Just having fun. Okay. So
wait just a sec.
do
He says, I'll have fake businesses on my layout. Will that count?
business on your layout. Well, I think I think you probably get audited with that. All right. So I'm gonna move this out and I'm gonna cut this material off right here and then we're gonna set it back in place. So I'm gonna see if I can find a spot. I'm just gonna take this back over to the table. Just kind of the way it is. And we will we're just gonna take this off right here. I'm gonna take enough back so I don't have to do this a second time because later before I put the top on, I'll be filling back in everything that I need to that I've taken off here. So it's not that big a deal to have to do. I just need it smooth right now. There we go. That should do it. Let's put it back and see if that alleviated the problem. Go down this way just a little ways with it. I'm further to the left than I am the right anyway. Okay, I have nothing there, and nothing there, and it all seems to be back about the same distance on all of that. So I think we're good. Now this is a little angle right here. When I glue that together, it'll be nice and straight. So that looks okay. So I think the next step is going to be to put in all of the pieces, both sides, and then I'll glue these two together and then we'll set it in place. And then I can start doing the beams that go across the top right here. And then we'll take and we'll glue these three together because these are going to all come around back here. I measured this and we got it to where we'll have three and it should come up to being about right here. I'm hoping I got my measurements right, but we'll see. If not, I can have it off just a little bit. It's not that big a deal. But I am going to have to cut a lot of this back here. And I knew I was going to have to at some point to accommodate all the legs that are going to be dropped down from this back here. So, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and get the legs put. I can probably just take this one right off. Yeah. Well, we'll start putting the legs on this, and then we'll get that one, do the same thing, and then we'll be pretty much ready to go. All right. So bring the camera back. Sorry for the whiplash, everybody. Okay. So right there. All right, so next step is going to be I'm going to have to sand or file the ends of these just to make sure I get the glue off because I don't have an option here on using the other side because this has a little foot to it that I want to have down that is like just a footing on the ground. So I'm going to use the other side to have to glue to. So I've just got to make sure I get everything off, and I'll do the dab off this time, which is probably what was the issue the first time around. So we'll just get this done. Get it put back in place. I can't remember how many I used. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put, so I want to have more room to look under with the camera. So I'm probably going to do, I'm just going to divide this in half and half and half. So I'm probably going to put 6 on here. And the other thing I gotta take into account is this actually has to support weight. It's going to have the weight of the station. It's going to have the weight of all of the styrene in the corner here with the park on it. Everything else we do, it's going to have all of that. So,
Carl says you could, if you're coloring, make the metal beams rusty to show how long the metal is around.
yes, I am going to weather all of the beams. I use this red to start off with because I really like this color. But I will, I'll add rust and dirt and everything to it. So yes, that will be coming. Okay, that should be enough of that. So I'm just, I don't know why, I didn't think it was gonna go this quick. I thought I was gonna have to do a whole bunch of adjustments. So I'll leave the glue open now at this point. Okay, so now, love this ruler. This thing is great. You can pick these up at Hobby Lobby. I used to use these for my artwork. That's how I did all the measurements on all the diesel drawings and the steam drawings I did. But I love how you can see right through on all of that. You can, and these things make great lines to line your lines up to make sure everything stays parallel with each other. So when I come across like this, I'm always constantly checking my lines right here to make sure these guys are lined up, because right now it's lined up perfectly with the edge of this middle beam and with that beam. So then if I just keep them, when I glue these on, if I just make sure they're lined up with those lines, we have no problems. So what I need to do now is I get my pencil, and we're going to try to get a center line. So we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 3/8. So we'll do 4, or no, 8 and 5, 8 and 3/4. So we need to do 4 and 3/8. And that's the center point. So we'll see if this one is the same. It should be, since these were printed exactly the same. Yep, they are. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3/8. And I always double check to make sure that's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3/8. And 4 and 3/8. Yep, that's it. That's center line. That's the center point for each beam. All right. So we'll just put those on, and then we'll use this and we'll check to make sure we're going straight up and down with them. So I'll make sure anyway with the filing, at least I've eliminated anything that might make them angle one way or another. And that looks pretty straight. So. This is the other thing about, doing your own 3D printing. You don't have any marks, you don't have any little stops or anything. You've got to just take care of building it yourself. All right, so we're going to make sure. I did have ways that I did like these facing out. Yeah, I think it's okay like that. All right. Oh, did I dab? I don't remember. I'll just do a little more. All right, so we're just going to line that up with the center, like that, and we'll just, it did run some, so I may not have a lot of glue on top. I may have to add a little more, but we'll see. So we'll just, we'll plug away doing this, and then we'll adjust with the ruler, make sure we have everything going right. And then once we get this one out of the way, we'll bring the other one over. I'll have to use that paint bottle again just to hold it while I'm working my way through. There we go. Okay. If I get this other one on, I'll check to make sure we're parallel and perpendicular both. Okay. All right, we'll just let that sit for a sec, and then I'll put the ruler on it. We'll make sure we're going upright with it. And then we just divide these two spaces in half on each side, and we're done. This one's got all the I-beams we're going to put on it. This is nice. It's going to come together pretty quick. may have still had too much on there, or I may have taken too much off. Sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate. We'll see how that does, if it'll dry solid here in a minute. If not, I'll redo that one. But anyway, let's check this other guy here first. I'll make sure my line right here, I'll line it up, make sure it's good, and that's perfect right there. So we're good. All right.
That guy you hate asks, where are you sourcing your styrene architectural?
These right here, we 3D print these. We just measure the area that we need to put stuff in, and I turn it over to my son, and he prints me off everything I need. So we have a bamboo printer, and he just takes care of all of it. Let's see here. All right, so we have 4 1/4 to the edge, so it's going to be 2 1/8. Let's see if this is the same. Yep, it is, and it should be. 1 1/4, so 2 1/8. So that'll finish this side up. Oh, stop that. Stop that. Okay. You see this is just going to go pretty quick now. Now that I've said that, resin printers. Yeah, you can do resin printers too. Either way, we just find the PLA is a lot, just for our purposes, it's what we wanted. We could have had either one because they're both about the same price. But I just find this is a little easier to work with. Okay, come on. You can stand upright. Let's go. Let's go. There we go. Make sure that stays parallel. All right. Here very soon. We'll be able to get to that side, see how he's doing. He's solid now. It's just taking a little longer for some of them than the others, so no big deal. All right. We'll sit there and hold this for a sec, and then we'll check these 2 guys for parallel to the middle ones and the ends. And then we'll slide things down a little bit, and we'll get this other side. And then we'll take this up, put it over there, and we'll get the curved one.
He says, subscribe, thanks for the information, love your layout.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you subscribed. Yes, we're going to start playing around with the idea of doing more live streams. So if you guys want to stay on top of what we're doing and stay up with us on them, then I highly recommend that you subscribe, because we're going to play around with the days during the week till we find a really good day that we like. Right now we've been doing like Fridays and Sundays, so we may be adding in a Tuesday or a Wednesday. We're not sure yet, so if you want to stay with these, you might go ahead and subscribe, and that way you don't miss any of them if you're enjoying doing it. If you are enjoying them, please do like them as well. A lot of the metrics that YouTube uses is based on your subscribers and your likes. So, whoops. Make that 2 1/8 to make sure that's goes to the longer one. And 2 1/8. Okay. So you can see they're drawing really nicely. I'm getting them nice and perpendicular to this and parallel to the other ones. So it's coming out fairly decently so far. Why aren't you sanded? Thought I sanded all 5 of you. You're really a cruddy looking one. Yeah. Get rid of him. That was one that broke off unevenly and took some of it out off the beam, the original beam that they were on. So I'm not going to reuse that one. It would not do well. So how about you? You can do all right? Yeah, you're going to do all right. I talk to my stuff a lot. And you can tell when not to bother me and to do what I needed to do. Okay. Just centering it again, like the last ones. And by doing it like this, you're also getting it to always stay flat with the original beams too, by just, that's what I really like about using the wax paper. Is we're, it's not going to stick to my table or any other kind of a surface. The wax paper, sometimes it'll stick just a little bit. I just pop it, you're good. We just about have this one done. Last beam going on here. A lot of glue on this one. I'm going to take it over and I'm going to set it up with the other one and see how it looks. And I'll show you real quick, and then we'll bring the curved one over and we'll start working on it. And then we'll assemble the two together here. We'll glue the ends together, and then we'll go put it over in place. And then we'll start doing beams going across. Here we go. This is almost it. And I just go by eye for center on my lines between with the center of the beam. As long as you're close. I mean, nobody's going to come in here with a ruler on your layout and say, you're off a 1/100th of an inch. So, as long as it looks pleasing visually, which so far it is, it's all looking nice and spaced well. So, we're good. All right, so we're going to do the same thing we did. We're going to check parallel. Yep. And, yep. And, yep. And, yep. All right. Those are good. And boy, they're already set. Nice. I'm gonna have to. I got a little bit of support burrs there that I need to deal with. There we go. That took care of it. All right. Take this over. I'll set it in place, and I'll bring the camera over and show you guys. All right, grab the camera here. So there we go. So now you can see how that came out. They're all nice and straight up and down. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So now we got to do the same thing with this back piece, and then we will get to gluing the two together, and then we'll start working on the cross pieces that go right here. I'll get this. I know I've got this one is correct, so I'll get that one in so they're just kind of together, and then we'll just start taking measurements. And I'm probably going to put them right above each of these going across. So I've already got where I need to have them, so I just got to make measurements once I have these two things together. So let's just take this. Let's see how well this stands up on its own. Oh, there you go. So I would say that's pretty good considering I'm not glued down or anything. I think that's I think it did okay. All right, so I may have an issue with that. On the back side, it's probably not going to line up. It's probably not going to line up on the back beams because it's just not going to because of the curve. But I am going to make it line up with these front beams up here. So, okay, let's get this done. Let me get the camera back up where it needs to be, and then we'll get these on. And then we'll just put it all together. And we'll be done with this part of it. Then we got to do the back half. But this is an important area right here. This is, yeah. Okay, so the other thing I like about this is the flexibility. So I can just lay this right in here and I'll get the correct measurement. Okay, so that's 9 and get it down in there, 9 5/8. 9 5/8. Is that 5? Yeah, 9 5/8. So 2.5. So a half plus 2.5. Yep. So 4.5 plus 2.5. All right. Now then, I don't want to knock. Let's just take this and we'll bring this down. This is going to be interesting. I may just put it up on that top one right there. Okay, where's my, there. Okay. 4.5 1.5 plus 2.5. Let's see if that's right. 4.5 plus 2.5. Okay. That did all right. So let's see if this is the same measurement over here. Whoop, 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 whoop. And as you can see, that's how good this glue is. I drop this stuff all the time around here, and it'll break. Other parts of it will break before the seam breaks, which is nice. Oh, well, thank you for asking, Crochet Lady. It's okay. It's pretty well healed up from hitting it on the layout the other day. I'm just going to put it right here. But the neck is starting to give me a few issues. 4.5 plus. Let's see how we did there. Yep, okay. So there's those two. But thank you for asking. So I think what I'll do, let's see, can I just put that up like that? Yeah, there we go. Line it up like that. All right, so I got to do my next 6 to get these ready. And then, like I said, once this is done, then we're going to bring the other one over and we're going to glue the 2 together. And then we'll start working on those top beams. Two. 3. Trying to grab ones that came off the original beams evenly, so I get a nice even glue joint on these. I got plenty of these left too, looks like. So that one's a bad one. So I may be able to do that back wall without. So we may not need those 50 reprinted.
What?
We're probably not going to need a single one of those 50 we printed, maybe 2 or 3 at most. So, well, we'll just make a stack of those and put them in the building sites.
Yeah.
That'll be fine. 23, one more. Okay, so we'll get the first one here. And we'll see how this one does. I'm not going to be able to check parallel on this with the measurements with the rulers, so I'll just do it by eye. Because this curve is just not going to allow me to do it. Oops. Okay. That's all right. Since it's inside, as long as I'm close, it's fine. These inside ones will get really strengthened when I start doing the loading platform for the passenger trains. It'll actually notch that styrene to go around these beams and to create the platform. So that'll work really well. All right, so now I need to do just the opposite over here. So we'll just trade this to here, putting that right there. And we'll just make sure this is going to be okay. Yep, we're getting there. See, this is why I'm taking a little extra time to let them dry, because they're suspended up in the air now, and I don't want them sagging and bowing down towards the table. So we'll just make sure that these are really attached well before we move on from here. While I'm letting that dry, I'll make my measurements for the next batch. And it should be the same. So we have to go come in a little bit, it's 4 5/8. So we'll go 2 3/8. Okay, that's about what it was on the other one, I think. So it's just going to depend on how it lines up when I put it back on it. But I wanted to go straight with the beams coming across, but I may wind up having to do a bit of an angle so that they do attach here. They may be coming in. Let me think. We'll figure it out. What did I say this was? 2 3/8. Get myself all non-concentrating here. Let's see. Yep. 2 3/8. So I'm going to take this off for a minute. And we're going to 2 3/8. So let's see if this is the same. Yep, it is. Let's get you underneath. Go 1 2 3/8. So more than likely, this is going to be the same. It should be the same. It better be the same. It's the same. All right, so we're going to go 1 2 3/8. Come around over here. I'll flip this for a minute. Oh, it's just a little easier doing it this way. 1 2 3/8. All right, so I got all my marks for the rest of them. Now it's just gonna be a matter of, let's see, are they still going up? Yep, it's still doing just fine. How's that doing? Perfect. Okay. This is what happens to the wax paper. No. I was just talking about the wax paper, how I use this to glue on because it pops off easily. That's all I've done as far as that goes. All right, so let's see here. I can tell right now that's not quite level. There we go. Yeah. All right. Once I get these done and I get the other ones glued to it, I can cap the glue for a little while we're working on taking the measurements. I'll go ahead and I'll take the one I've got right here, we'll clean it off, and we'll put it across the middle to give me the stability I need. And then we can start taking measurements for the others. Okay. That's doing all right, so we'll do this one over here. Let's see, we'll pop that up just a, so yeah, I'll just push it down when it comes time. Trying to have something on there is just not going to do it. So we'll just take this and we'll get it flat, and we'll just do that like that. Okay, that going. We just have 2 more, and we have our main section done, as far as at least the lower legs go. Okay, yep, that's loose from there. There we go. I can tell right now that's got to go this way just a little ways. There, that's better. All right, so now we'll go, let's see, we do this. No, I'm just going to have to do it on the curve. Of course we do. All right. Put that there, and then we're just going to hold this down right here, and put that right there. Almost. Then we do the other side, and then we'll take it over, we'll check it, and then I'll bring the other piece back. We'll bring both pieces back over here, and then we'll glue them together. Now, how are you? You need to go this way. Yep, okay. So now I've got it loose again, and this is where it's going to be a pain. It wasn't drying straight, so I had to change it, and now that I've taken it off, it's going to be a pain in the, you know what, adhere again. Once you take this off, if you got to adjust anything, you got to do it real quick in that first just couple seconds. Otherwise, it's just a bear. See, it's just not. So I'm gonna sit here and let this just dry for a sec. It was kicking that way. That's why I had to bring it back. And so naturally when I did that, I broke that really great initial seal that super glues have. Now it's just going to be a pain. Okay. I'll keep watching that for a minute, make sure I don't see it sag one way or another. Until I can get this one on and get it upright, and then I can straighten them all once it's upright. Okay. This is a big curve here. I'm going to hope that one is straight up and down. The rest all are. I can see that now. That one I was having a problem with is dried. So we're okay. This is going to be the last one that might have an issue with. It is really right there on that hard curve. Okay. Let's stand this upright so that they can just kind of dry straight up and down like that for a sec. Perfect. All right, I'll get the tip of this off, cleaned off, and then we'll go set it. And that one kicked in on me. I adjust it right now before we go back over. Yeah, okay. That's better. All right, so let's go put it back over there. I'll put it in place, and then I will show you what that looks like, and then we'll get to gluing these two halves together and putting one across there. So just give me a sec. I'll put this back over there. Yeah. You thought you were going to just fall off of there, didn't you? Okay, so I am going to have to cut some of the scenery material out, but I'll be able to show you what this looks like. Okay, so there we go. So, yep, it's going to have here, and then it's going to go, these are just going to go out at a slight angle. So there, and there, because if I went straight across, it's not going to line up. So I'll make sure I line them up on each of the beams below. So they'll splay out just a little bit, which is fine. I'm okay with that. So that'll be right.
Hello, what is this?
We are building, this is model train layout, and we are building, right today what we're doing is we're building a foundation right here for the station to come across and set above the tracks. So what we're doing today is we're just building all of the beam work and everything, the structural foundation for it. We're about to glue all this together and start bringing everything together here. And then I've got three I've got to put back here together. It's these three right here. And then that way I can start bringing the beams coming all the way across right here. So once we get this done, then today we're going to work on the roofs here. And we may do a little bit of work to this skyscraper that's right here. And if I have time, we're going to take these inserts and put them inside this building right here for the reinforcement. But right now we're just trying to get this done. I'm tired of this corner looking like this. So we're just trying to get all of this finished today. Oh, well, thank you. So all right, so let's get these two back over there on the table. And I'm going to line these two edges up. And I'm going to glue them together. And then once I've done that, then I'll put the one beam, the first beam right there. And I can see right here, I'm going to have to take a little bit of the landscape material out here and here, but I'll mark that when I bring them back over when this is all one piece and it's all sturdy. So, and then we'll run the engines and we'll test, make sure everything's going to go well right through there and how that's going to look when we're doing filming with the camera down low like this. We can kind of see how that's going to look with the engines coming through, especially the passenger trains underneath the station right there. All right, so let's get these back over there, and we will get this done. We're really coming close on this now. Well, yeah. I wasn't, somebody asked, don't understand why there's vegetation under the train station. I wasn't gonna have the station here initially. When we, just even a month ago, the station was actually gonna be over to the left, this curve was gonna be open. So as I go along and I'm adding stuff and doing things, I'll take out, most of the green, but I'll just leave the dirt under there. But I'll take probably the bushes back out. I'll probably leave some that are close to the ends, like down in this area before the tracks come in. I'll probably leave like some of the vegetation right in these areas on each side because, you know, light would be getting to that. But I'll make it more sparse back underneath in this area. So because I really this thing is just keeps changing on me. I don't know, you know, I never know what I'm gonna do from one day to the next on it. So that's just how that wound up happening. All right, so that lines up. And that lines up. So what we gotta do now is I've gotta carefully run a bead here and here on each edge. I'll start with this edge right here, and we'll get this glued together, this end glued together, and then we'll go glue this in together. And then once I've got all of it painted, all of the glue spots will disappear. And then when I put the matte finish, the dull coat on, it'll really disappear. All right, so we're just gonna put a bead of glue right along here. I'm gonna make it kind of thick, but then I'll do my little dab thing just to get any of the big bubbles out. Okay. Now I'm gonna pull this over to here so I can see this edge a little bit better, hopefully. Now we're gonna, I'm sorry if my hands get in the way, there's not a lot I can do about that and still get this to line up properly. So you may just have to wait and see it after it gets glued together like that right there. I probably should have scraped that paint off. That would have been it's pretty toxic though. It's corrosive. It'll probably go right through it and get down to the PLA without too much of a problem. Trying to keep it down there at the other end pretty well lined up, so I'm not going to have too much of an issue when I go to flip this around to the other side. So just going to do this. I'm going to move it down here just a little bit so I've got a little bit of room to work on the other side. Yeah, that's pretty good together like that. And we didn't have too much here. There we go. It got kind of bound up right there. There we are. All right, how are we down here at this end? We still okay? Looks like it. Once I do this, I'll put the one I already have made for right here across to stabilize. And if I've got a few more, and if they actually fit, then I'll do it. But if not, we're probably going to wind up having to print some. We're going to have to wind up printing some anyway. I didn't get enough to come across. So we'll have to get some 3D prints going here. Do you have the I-beam thing set up? Try and give you the links here in just a sec. Okay. So let's take this and let's see if I can gently and carefully move this around without it coming apart on me. Like I said, where I used glue on paint, that's not always the most steady. Oh, I did all right. Okay, so now we'll just do this one. Same thing. We'll just put it. Okay, I need to get. Can't. I'll just have to go on the tabletop. I can't get something underneath there, otherwise I'm going to get defined up. So we're just going to get that right there. Then we're going to glue that corner right there together. We should be good. And then I can put my one right here. Come on. Come on. All right, I know there's too much on there, so I'm just going to come in and dab, especially down at the bottom, because then I don't have to worry about it sticking to the. It won't stick too much to the wax paper. This way I don't have to worry about it too much. Okay, here's going to be the hard part. It's getting, I can't quite see where I need to go with this. Lovely double vision and floaters from the cataracts. So I'll try to do it as best I can. Not to mention, I think I still have too much glue on here. That's it right there. Now if I can just hold this long enough, we'll be okay. This is, I had a feeling one of these corners was going to be a real bear. And I was right. So now we'll get those I-beams that are over there. I'll find the one that was made for this center section. We'll get it, we'll get all the supports off of it, the print supports off of it, and we will get the sanding that needs to be done, and then I'll do it, and then we'll make the measurements for the other 6, and we'll get those printing off if these other ones don't work completely. All right, are you stuck to it? Yep, and you're not adhering up here at the top. God, I knew that was going to be a problem. Okay, so how am I going to solve this?
Evan says, okay, gotta go. Take care.
Okay, I'm glad you joined us. Okay. I'm going to have to.
Southeastern Trains asks, Wade, is this a model railway?
Yes, it is a model railway. We're building a support right now for a station that's going to be suspended over tracks. I noticed that right there was, oh, there we go. That got me to where I can, I may just wind up tucking that inside right there. I'm going to put a plate over this stuff anyway, so I might as well just go ahead and tuck it inside and forget about it. Oh, well, good. It's a good thing to do. You want to share pictures of your layout? You can put it in our community section. It's going to be a real booger, aren't you? Well, hello. Who was that? Wax and Pax. Oh, I'm glad you joined us. So I'm just going to tuck this one in right here. It's just going to be the easier way to do it, I think. Like that right there. I don't want to get my fingers down in there because I'm going to stick myself to it. All right, let's see if that'll hold now. I'll be able to brace. I'll take a piece of styrene. I've got a piece right there, and I can put it right on the end here. Wanted this to be kind of sealed up anyway to make it look like one big triangular beam when we're filming. So I'll just take and if I just get it to stick for right now, I can be fine later, because once I get the pieces coming across the top, this thing will become really, really solid. Okay. Hi. All right. It looks like that may have done it. I got this flat, and I shaved this down right up here at the top a little bit. Now that I've said that, I'll probably wind up popping the seam. All right, glad you joined us. All right, so there we go. So that looks like that got it. All right, so now I got to find the one that we have for this space right here. Maybe this one. It's that one. Yep, that's the one right there. Okay, so what I'll do, while this is still setting up, this will give this a little more time to set up. I'll get this taken care of. So what you do with these, if you've never dealt with this before on 3D prints, they all have these supports. Well, not all things have supports, but most things have supports. For if you have ledges and things like that that stick out, you're going to have supports. So all of this is support material. So what we got to do is underneath here, they give you these little lines. So we just break these with the, without cutting myself. You just do that. You don't have to go all the way through. You just come in and just break that a little bit like that. And like that. Like that. That's it with that. So then I get my little pliers. And we just get a hold of this. And we just grab it, and it just pulls right out. The little supports pull right out, and there's your I-beam. I just got to come in here and I got to get rid of the last of the support material that's still clinging on there. So we'll just get a hold of that. And then we'll just get a hold of this. Sometimes it's still stuck in there pretty good, so I just get the file. I don't like using the razor, my X-Acto blade right down here. I've stuck myself too many times doing it, but I may have to. We'll see. Yeah, it's going to be also. I'll just try to do it facing away. There we go. That almost got it. There it is. Okay. Now we'll just pull this out of here. And I-beams, if you've priced I-beams through the major suppliers, like styrene I-beams and things like that, you know this stuff is not cheap. So this is worth taking a little bit of time and doing this yourself. Not to mention the fact that we make them the exact size we need to make them. So instead of, see, I get these little ends because we have this set up, the file set up where we get those little ends right there, so that when you have that, you can see how those little ends are perfect for like the support areas, the main welding areas that they would have. So you wouldn't have that ability with ones that are sold. They just come with open ends. This has the completed capped end and made exactly to fit. So we'll just get that. Well, this side came out pretty good. Once I get this one in, I'll take my measurements if I don't have any more that fit, and we will get the rest of these made. All you gotta do is just find where it just attaches. And once you get a little run going of it, you can pretty much just shave the rest of it off. And if not, the file gets the rest of it. There we go. Get a little close to my thumb there. Okay, so now what I'll do quickly is I'll just hit that with the Dremel. That's the side that's going to face down, so if we have a camera on of like a flat car in front, you won't see this really. This is because we print, one of the sides gets printed with the rough side on the plate, so we just want the rough side gone. So just and then this facing down. If we're going to put back over there in place, we'll check all 3 tracks, make sure we're good with everything. And then we'll start figuring out that last one back there. And then this week, I will do the rest of all of these I-beams that go across the top. And we will get, maybe next weekend, we will get, build the platform that goes up on top. I'm still trying to mentally figure out how I want to do that because I want to make it look. The thing that I'm dealing with is I don't want to cover the I-beams up too much that you see sticking out, that you'll see sticking out on the front edge. But I want to make it look like a thicker piece of like concrete that was poured, a slab that was poured. This is all supporting. So in order to do that, the thickness of the black styrene I have, it's thick, it's good and thick, but it's not going to look like a poured piece of concrete thick. So I'm going to have to edge it somehow, but I don't want to lose seeing all this stuff. So I'm going to have to sit there and just work with things a little bit and try to figure that out. But we'll get there.
Southeastern says I'm back.
Oh, glad you came back. All right, we're just about ready to do this and then move this back over and do some testing. Make sure it's mostly going to be the inner track, but I'm just going to run them all anyway. Haven't done that yet today, so, and then we'll show all of the other buildings and stuff that we're working on if you haven't been with us. And what the rest of today's projects are going to be. All right. So now I just get my little square file. I just run this right inside the edge here. And that finishes all that up. Yeah, I was pricing some I-beams the other day. There's 4 I-beams in a pack. They're about 9 inches long. It's about 36 inches of I-beams. It was $15. This right here in my hands is like 3 cents. You know, total with all the I-beams right here that I've done so far, including the big ones, we're probably into this for like $1. Maybe $1.50. So you can see why doing this and taking a little bit of time, I'd much rather have spent, you know, that extra money on buying a car or something for the layout, for the fleet, versus putting it into plastic. Okay, that's good. So now I'm just going to place this guy right here. I'm going to try to get it perpendicular so it comes right across, nice and we're going to want to make sure we're going to want to make sure this wall stays out. So what I may do is well, we'll see here. First thing to do is just get a dab of glue on it. Okay. And if you saw me popping those off earlier, once this glue goes on here, it's good. So I'm going to put it, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to flip this around so I can see it from this way. Because this is the side that faces out towards the room. So I want to make sure I have this right. Okay. Boy, it's already stuck on this end down here. So I'll just bow it up a little bit, make sure that's flush right there. And then we'll just glue that down. That's already finished here. Okay. There we go. I want a little bit of that to come off. I don't want that much stuff there. Okay, now let's just get that lined up for the end. Try not to glue myself to it. Okay. I think. Okay. So now it's going to have to come down just a little bit like that. That's why I've got the adjustment on the front versus the back. I-beam's not going to come all the way out to the end on the back, but it's going to allow me to have that front stay nice and parallel, plumb. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So it came up a little bit short, but it's not that much off. But that's pretty flat. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm pushing pretty hard on this right now, so those beams underneath are nice and solid at this stage. Okay, I'll go set the camera up over there, and then we'll bring this back over, and we'll start making measurements. And I'll dig out the landscaping material that needs to come off. So let's see, we'll put this here, and we'll do that. All right, can you see, Gabe?
Yep.
You see the corner okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, so let's put this here.
You may want to zoom it in just like very slightly.
I'm able to do that, reach around to do that. All right, I'm going to get this. I'm going to mark where I've got to cut out some of the scenery material.
Carl says you could add some signal posts for decoration.
Yeah, we are going to have signal posts up. I might actually be putting a set like over the tracks where this is going to come across. All right, so I've got these marked where I'm going to need to
There you
be.
go.
Okay, so let's see, I'm going to cut that back, and I'll see if I can push this back. I'd like this to go back a little bit further if I can. So let's get this material out of here. Almost got it. Okay, let's see how that does. I'll probably have to adjust it a little bit more. I definitely want it to go back some. I need to cut some out right here. That's pretty good right there. That back is pretty good. Even to there. Yep. So I just need to take off a little bit right there. And this will all get filled in back around it, so when you see me do this, don't panic about it. I'll reattach all of the scenery material after this thing is in place. I'll dribble it all back around and glue it in place before I put the top back down.
JL says, how cool would it be to have those as supports for some form of overpass?
Yes, they are. They make great overpasses. I'll show you here in a sec. Okay. Let's see how that did. That should be it. Yeah, that's it. Oh, good. All right, so that's back about as far as I want it from the edge. Let's see how this does now. Now I'll be able to kind of see it more the angle that I want to have it at. Oh yeah, that'll work just fine. This will have to get moved over just a little bit. This guy's coming over to right here. No, actually I'm probably going to go more. Because this is going to go all the way over here. So this is going to be like this to this. So I can actually do that about right there. I think that'll look better going that way, having it at a slight angle. I just wanted things kind of not, going at right angles to each other. I wanted things kind of right in here to be a neat little park that we're going to have. That's going to be in this area right here. This is going to swing around just a little bit and come over just a little ways. So I think that's going to do really good. Okay, I'm going to give you the measurements we need. Yeah, that we're going to have for these I-beams right here. And then while you're making those, I'll create that back beam that's got to go behind that third track. And we might be able to get a few of those put together today too. I'm just getting this, I'm doing my due diligence here and getting my bottle of PLA glue dried so that I don't glue my lid to it. There we go. Okay, so let's see what we need here. All right. I better write this down so I'll know which ones. Well, I'll be able to figure out the ones you give me the lengthwise. Okay, so we need one. Right up to the front edge. 3 5/8. Okay. 3 1/8. And 2 1/8. That's
1, 3 5/8, 1, 3 1/8, and 1, 2 1/8.
yes. Right, other side. I need because none of the other ones fit that we made. So we're having to do 6. So the other side, I need one that is 3 7/16. One that is 3 1/16. And one that is 2 inches. Okay. Well, we're gonna run this engine around here real quick and see how that's gonna look coming through all that. I'll get the camera down so you guys will get an idea of what we're trying to shoot for here. Okay, so I want this so that when we're filming and we're down low like this, we have the lights on underneath right here for all the loading platforms and everything, that it'll look really good with the engines. So, and the trains coming in. So let's see how this is gonna look. Gotta go in the right direction. Ah, it's gonna look good. The clearances are nice. I'm just gonna let this go around a little bit more. And then we'll hook up the other trains, the other tracks. Now the lights are gonna start flickering, everyone, because our 3D printer draws a lot of power. And this room's on the same plug that we, all that's in here is on the same plug line that we have our 3D printer on. So you're gonna see some lights flickering for about, probably 20, 30 minutes while we're doing the printing for the I-beams up above. Perfect. All right, so let that come around again, and then we'll run these through and see how those look on the farther tracks back behind. But anyway, so if you've just joined us, we're working on this area right here. So we've got a place to move this tower out to over the tracks a little bit, and this station is going to swing out right here. And then that way we can have this tower, and we'll have these 3 things right here. Okay, let's get... Oh, there's the overpass. I was going to show the guy that talked about the overpass for the... But I use more of a post type on that than I do the actual I-beams, but you could use the I-beams that I'm doing. Okay, so let me just set this right here for a sec while I switch the leads. And then we'll check the other tracks. We'll just do them each one at a time. So this week I'll get all of this finished up. We'll get the long piece that goes across here and the long piece that goes across here. I'll have to measure that and see. We only have about 10.5 inches that we can do. Well, actually, we did this as a single piece. Oh, that'll be fine. Got more than enough room. So we'll be going, the I-beams will actually be going about 1 inch back behind the wall onto the pink. And then we'll tie that all into the layout. Okay. So here's the Montana rail link coming through. Oh yeah, that's gonna look really good. I'll get this fascia put on this week right here too. Oh, I forgot I had him on the tracks. Okay, so we'll just bring him around again. We'll just pass that through since I didn't realize he was taking some of the power as well. Coming through. So it's going to really look nice on both corners. We'll have the overpass over here. The train's coming through, and then right here we'll be going underneath the station. Looking really good coming through underneath here with all the lights that we'll have underneath. So that'll be just fine. And then, so if we're filming like back here, give you an idea, we'll let it come around again. I'll show you what this will look like. Let me get down. So this is, we'll set the camera up on a tripod like right here. And you'll be able to, as we're running stuff, here we go. Now that'll be probably a pretty good vantage point. You'll be able to see it pass. You know, I should just move that station over so you can get the full idea of what it's going to look like. Yeah, let's do that. So, station like that. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good. We'll get all 3 of the big buildings in there here together. Here it comes. Oh, that's going to look really good. Yeah, okay. And we're gonna have another big tower right here, one back behind this skyscraper, and these are all skyscrapers that are going in. They'll all be like 3 to 4 foot tall. We're gonna have another one right here, all varying heights. So I'm gonna check that last track. Oh yeah. Let's try to get an angle here, see what it looks like with the station. We'll do that with the other one. We'll pull this one to a stop, and then we'll get the other one going. So we'll just bring this in and bring it right here to a stop. All right, so there's that. So let me put this back up here for a sec while I swap lines again. And then we'll get set up like that, and we'll get it rolling. Let's see, which one are we on now? No, we are gonna be on this guy right here. I will have a plug and play system set up for I'm not having to do this. And once the DCC is set up, then we won't have these issues at all. Everything will just be hardwired in. Okay. So get this. We'll get it started, then we'll. Okay, we'll get set up. We'll catch him coming through when he comes around. That is going to look really good. Just a wall of buildings all through here. I think that's going to look really, really nice. You can hear him coming around. We'll get down low here so we can kind of see what. And this building will be pretty much done next week too. Okay. We'll have stairs coming down and an elevator coming down from the station to the lower track area for the passengers. That's going to look really good. Okay. All right. So we'll watch it one more time. And I'll stack them back up over here. And then we'll get to back working on this back wall. Yeah, that'll look really nice coming through there. Okay, so I'm going to set the camera down here where it was before. Because now I've got to curve these pieces. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that, but we'll figure it out. All right. So put this back on top for the dust right now. I'll put this back out of the way. I can hear the printer in the other room going. I'll take you guys in there in a minute and I'll show you it printing the next I-beams. All right, so I know this is going to go here, right next to that.
Jay says looking good.
Oh, well, thank you. That one's going to go right in here. And this one's going to go somewhere about like right here. So I think I measured it right to where when we've got the curve on them, they'll be fine. Now what we're doing here is these are all going to be behind this track right here. And then we will, I'm having, because we've got support here with this. When we bring the beams across to the pink, it'll already have support. So I wanted something a little more inside so I wouldn't get a sag or anything right over the tracks. So we're going to put these right back here. Yeah, so I'm gonna heat those, and I'm gonna see what I can get as far as my curve goes. But then I think I may just wait until later in the week and get this back one done. I'd like to get this done today. When those come up and printed, we'll get that finished. But what I should do is work on that roof over there on the convention center. I'd like to have that kind of out of the way today. So but maybe I'll just go ahead and get the curve. I don't know. Maybe we'll work on the curve. So we'll just put this, it's just one of these things where it's just like, well, I don't really want to do that right now. And so it's just one of the procrastination is basically all it is. It's like, I just got this one done. I don't really feel like working, jumping into the next one, but it has to be done. I'm just getting the cord stretched out from the heat gun. All right. You can hear the excitement in my voice, can't you? Let me get this back on the track and covered with the paper towel. Okay. All right. Here we go. Got to bring this in about like that. So this is more of a flat curve, so it's not going to take a whole lot. So I'm gonna work this a little bit higher up so it doesn't get so hot and mushy. Let's see here. We're gonna want that side down. So we're gonna make sure we're working this side. I was stupid. I was trying to form it while I was thinking over the heat gun with it. That's really good. Come over here real quick and set it down. Make sure I've got it flat. Well, it's almost there. Nice and soft right now to be able to really get the bends the way I want them to go. You what?
Harsky says, yes, do it for us.
I'm trying. Okay. Gotta get the twist back out of it. That'll do it. Alright. So let's see what we got going here. A little too big right there. I need to flatten that out just a little bit. So right here. There we go. There we go. So, this is a little warmer. We're going to put a bit of a curve at the end. That's nice and right upright. So let's see how we're doing here. It's got to be about right there. Okay. Still need to flatten this back out just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So there. That's the first one. That's pretty good. Okay. This one's going to be just the slightest little bit of a curve right there. Do what?
Harsky can do it.
I'm trying. Okay, let's see here. That. I need to get the twist out of this. There we go. That's it. See how that is over here. On the tabletop, that's pretty flat. All right, so let's see how that goes now. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to dig a lot of material out of the way. All right, so there's that one. That's lined up pretty good with the end of this beam right here, which is where it's gotta go. This one is just not gonna take much. It's very flat curve. If that makes any sense, a flat curve. We just pass this over the heat gun just really quickly. It's going to heat it up pretty fast. Okay. Let's see how that's coming up. Let's bring that in a little bit more here in the middle. Not as flat of a curve as I thought it was. Like I said, again, this is underneath everything. I just need to have this so to support. All right, let's see how that goes. Now we're getting closer. The problem is I'm getting a shadow from my lights that's deceiving me as far as how much of a curve I have going. So I think I got a great curve, and then I put it down here, it's like, no, I didn't do anything. Oh, there we go. Oh, that warm air feels so good. A little more. I'm fighting with all my scenery materials that are down below. It's hanging up on rocks and stuff at this point. I think if I bring this out, I'm gonna have to get away from the tracks a little bit because it's wider cars and things coming around that curve. Get out of there. You're really being a pain, aren't you? Okay. Actually, I think it's gonna be pretty good. That gives me about a half an inch. I'm just gonna sit over right here for a minute. Give me about a half an inch. What's up?
Crochet lady says, wish we can see what you're doing. Can you move the two?
Well,
Yeah. There we go.
yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Hadway layout says hello.
Hello there. I think that's pretty good. I got one more to go. Gotta bring it on around about right there, and then I think I'll have to bring this down a little ways, about like right about here. Moving away from the tracks as much as possible.
Steven says, nice track. Look forward to seeing it when you're finished.
Oh, thank you. Do you want to take that in and show them the printing while I'm doing this real quick?
I could, yeah.
Just came down and then
Mhm, yeah.
and he's gonna take you and show you the beams we're printing right now that are going across right here, and then he'll bring you back. And by the time you come back, I'll have this last one curve right here in place, and we'll be good to go.
Foxy Dog says this is what kids should be doing and less cell phones. The best memories of our children building their train tracks and going to train shows 1982.
Yep, I agree completely. It's a fun hobby, and it takes imagination, and you learn a lot. I mean, most guys that are model railroaders have turned into electricians and artists, and because of what's demanded by the hobby. So yeah, I agree. I think it's a good, teaches you a lot of great stuff. I think it's pretty good right here.
All right, everyone. I'll take you
Yeah, I
into
think they've
the.
shown the printing going
Yeah.
on the peaks, and then you come back, I should have this done.
All right. Here is the 3D printer going. Hi, Steve. Not sure how much you'll be able to see with the cord in the way, but these are the 6 that we'll need for the rest of the station. It doesn't take up that much space here in the room. This one, we got it on sale for around $300. And it's a Bamboo Lab A1. And they usually go on sale pretty often. I think they just had a sale for New Year's, as well as one for Christmas. If anything, this is the favorite printer that we've owned. It's just so easy. It's literally plug and play. If anything goes wrong, all the parts inside the print head or any of the motors are so easy to replace. Height and width is 256 by 256 by 256 millimeters. See, this is the. It's a dual print bed, so it has this textured surface on this side, and then on the other we have a smooth surface. So in case we don't, on the bottom of the prints, we don't get that bumpy texture. And then you can see here, we use PLA Plus filament from Anycubic. You can get 2,000 grams for like $20 on Amazon. So yeah, you can. It's just a going. Oh, let me see if I can like set this somewhere here. Probably see it there. Let me get my phone and I'll take a look what that would be. It's about 10 inches cubed. Well, it's right on the dot. A little bit over. Yeah. So that you can see how far up the it can go. Here. We were able to print some huge blast furnaces, and we still had room to spare when we were printing those. And those were tall. Took 250 grams of filament and 8 hours to print each. Yeah, it's just you can have multiple colors. Those four slots on the top of the print head are where you can connect different tubes for different filament colors. But this one only has the one slot, the one holder. But you can get it separately or in a bundle with the printer. And since Dad just paints everything anyways, all we usually just do is the gray. And then he goes to Ace or Menards and finds whatever color he wants. And that's how he paint them. Yeah, all of the high rises get printed in sections. Usually they fill the whole plate. I try to get as many layers put together as I can. You know what? Here, I'll set this up again. Let me go get my laptop, and then I can show you what I use. New window. Okay. I think I've got it here. Yeah, here, let me go over to the laptop real quick. Okay, so here on the laptop, you can see all these different plates that I have set up. These are all the sections for this building. One of the buildings. This is the Empire Trust. If we zoom in, say on like this guy. So this is one of the base layers. You can see that this is part of the trim that we have for it. That goes on this section down here. We just glue that on separately. But it's pretty big. I'd say this section's about 7 inches. And then the original structure was this entire thing. So I've had to go in and cut all of the walls off of this single building, because this is just a single file. I'd have to say that's the most difficult part, is getting everything to line up and make sure everything is straight and we can glue it the way we need to. But when you do, it's really satisfying. So yeah, here's what I've got done so far. It's pretty much complete. I just have to print off a couple more roofs and another halfway section for the side step layers that are going to go up alongside the main tower. And then we're going to print the roof cap piece. A lot of these files are free on Thingiverse, but then we just go in and heavily modify them to just how suit what we want to do for the layout. So this one's going to be a lot taller than this file right here. These sections here, these side step sections, are going to be taller as well as the main tower itself. I cut off this entire angle part here on the side because that just didn't look right. We didn't think, and now we can have windows going all the way around the building. But most of these are free on Thingiverse, and it takes a little bit of work, but once it's done and once it's printed and up, you can see how cool it looks. I work here and there in a couple of, like, an hour or two bursts on these. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. But for a whole building to get sliced apart like this, probably about 8, 9, 10 hours is my best guess. Just getting everything cut to size and making sure everything lines up. Printing's a whole nother matter, because that takes a long time. This section alone here takes 3.5 hours. I'm going to have to wait for them to cool just a little bit. I usually wait until the fans kick down in speed. That way, that lets me know that everything's cool enough. And then the printer itself came with a scraper that I just gently push underneath the print, and then it pops right off from there. Alternatively, you can pop the whole bed off and fold it in half, and it all pops off at the same time. Yeah, it is really addictive. It's so satisfying getting a building done. There have been so many that we've done over the past year and a half. So got them all on file, so if we never need to reprint. Oh, wow. That is really cool. I bet that was a fun job. Yeah, I wish I was around in the 80s. Seems like a very fun decade. 80s and 90s both. It's just amazing how much technology has advanced since then. Let me head back to the printer here. Alright. Get flashbanged. Here is, you can see how much it's gone up in just that little amount of time. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure you could just spend all day. I'm sure the time just flew by. It's so fun. I love computers, I love technology. It's always been something I've really liked to interact with. So you can see here, it's got, 6 minutes left. You can see it's on layer 29 of 31. And the nozzle is at 220 degrees Celsius. The bed's at 65 degrees. Had to adjust the temperatures a little bit because it wasn't adhering, but raising the heat just made it stick more. At least for the first couple of layers. It may be putting on, it is. It's putting on the top of the I-beam now. So Brandon, we swapped from using Apple II to IBM. I've always been in Windows. I like Apple's products. I like the ecosystem that they have, but it's one of those things where you grow up with a certain ecosystem, certain type of computer, operating system, whatever. Then it just kind of sticks. But man, yeah, I'm sure that was quite the transition, going from Apple to IBM. Oh yeah, yeah. Nothing was on CCTV. Nothing was constantly, no security cameras. Yeah, don't get that now. Yeah, yeah. Dad said that the computers that he had in his school, the computer lab, they were that big. He used the punch tickets or the punch cards. That's just so wild of a concept to think about, using punch cards to run code. All right. Sounds like he's done in there, so I'm going to take the camera back in, and then I'll bring these I-beams in when they get done. So, there you go. I will take this back in.
All right. There you go. All right. So that was frustrating. I wound up having not enough clearance on either end where I needed to be. So we're going to have to skip the I-beam that comes around there. Wider cars, when they catch this curve, are going to catch the beams, and I'm not going to be able to get it over there. So we're going to skip the big I-beam back there. So what we'll do is, for the support issue, is we're just going to run I-beams out all the way, quite a few of them, and then I'll sink I-beams down in, and I'll put them underneath them for support. We'll just do those kind of staggered here and there. So it'll have the same look as we have here. We just won't have the big I-beam up underneath. Doesn't really matter. I mean, it was only going to be about 2 inches away, inch and a half away from the back wall anyway. So it's not like a whole lot of support was really going to change as far as what this is going to provide versus what that's going to provide. So it was more just to have the look of it underneath there. But I think the I-beams, just being able to look through and see all the I-beams sticking up will be just fine. So we're just going to skip that part of it, doing that. Maybe later this week, I might try a few other things when I'm not so tired. But for right now, I think that's going to be our best answer to the problem with this. So I think that's where we're at. I can't really. It was a long night, a long day, an early morning, so I'm not quite thinking completely. So I think we may just
wrap it here.
we may just wrap it up right here. How long have we been at this?
2 hours 24.
Oh, so almost 2.5 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got a lot done. I got the most important thing done I wanted to do today, which was get this section finished. I've always wanted to have this. I've wanted this support in here since we changed the idea of doing this and making this right here. So when we get back together, did you pop up a thing about a poll about whether they want to see more frequent?
I figured I would make that an actual post.
Oh, okay. Okay, so if you're with us, go ahead and like and subscribe so you get the notices about that. We're going to put up a post about actually doing more live streams. So look for that coming later today. and we'll have that, and then just vote on there if you'd like to see more. And then if we get enough votes for it, then we'll pick up one probably, like I said, around Tuesday or Wednesday. We're just not sure it, which is another reason to go ahead and subscribe, because then you'll get a notice. That way, if the day changes, because we may try a Tuesday one week, a Wednesday another week, we may take the one on Friday, move it to a Thursday, so it's like a Thursday to a Sunday, which means we back it up to a Tuesday. So if you want to see when our live feeds are, best thing to do would be just to go ahead and like and subscribe. And that way you get the notices. Then when we settle into a groove as to what it is, then you'll know. Yes.
A couple things here. Yeah, no problem, Crochet Lady. Foxy Dog says, "This is wonderful. Just found you. Please never stop."
We're not gonna. You'll see the entire layout build. In fact, before we go off, I'll go ahead and do another quick tour around, and I'll show you why this is going to take a while, and you're going to have plenty of content to see over the next year. Everything we're going to be building, there's so much stuff. I'll just do a quick wrap up before we do that. So why don't you hang out here for a sec?
Yeah, and Steven says, "Time's fun when you're having flies."
Yeah. Okay.
He also says, "Thanks, guys. We'll enjoy watching in the future."
Oh, good. Well, hang on just a minute, and I'll give you a quick tour around to show you what's coming. All right. So, as you guys know, this is the main part of the city, the area that we're working on right now. This will all be skyscrapers right here. We've got between 20 and 30 skyscrapers yet to print and do. We've got to expand the to a 2-track, our elevated track to a 2-track. This area right here is going to have a ton of these big skyscrapers, the real tall ones. They're going to make the corner kind of the big area for the really, really tall ones, getting up to like 4 foot in height. So this is all going to be coming over the next few weeks. We'll have this, by the time we get together next, I'll have all of the I-beams finished up on this. And what we may do is I'll get the piece of black styrene here. We'll make a template, we'll cut it, we'll put it across here, and we'll just start to see how that looks. So this is the newest tower that we're working on. This one's going to be about this tall right here. We've got 2 more sections of this to go. And then we've got more stair stepping to go up the side here than it has its top part. He showed you that on his laptop in there. This right here is our convention center. It's going to have 2 big towers. You can see the holes for the access for the lighting that's going to go up underneath each tower. Going to have a big one right here and a big one right here. There'll be matching towers with a restaurant area in between. All this will be all filled in with towers, medium to large size towers and buildings all the way through. Same thing here. We've got plans for a monstrous tower right here. Thing's going to be probably about, it's from big and wide, about that wide and about that tall, and it'll be a big office building, corporate office building. Then flanked on either side with more skyscrapers. So right here, as we've been working, those who've been with us, this is where all of our switching is going to go, so that these staging tracks up here, we can move things back and forth to get to where we're going to go over to the helix. The helix is going to be right over here in the corner. It'll be about a 3-foot diameter helix, which is more than enough for 6-axle trucks and larger equipment. It'll come up a little bit so that it can get to the elevated track level, so it can get to this level right here and the pink level right here. And then it'll also go down to the lower level. We have our lower level in right here. Right now we just got some HO stuff on it, but this is all going to be in scale back here. We're going to have a mountain back in this corner with a ravine, some bridges, a river coming through it, some waterfalls. Then we're going to have this transitioning out over here to a lot of industry, right, packed up through here. We'll have all of this underlit with LEDs. Right down here is going to be the big station that we're going to be putting in. We've got the file for it. We're going to get a file for the San Diego station, but it's just really a cool station. We're not going to list it as a San Diego, but that's what's going to go right here. We'll have the track that comes from that'll wind all the way through the industries, and the mountains will come here, and it'll do a loop around, basically a dog bone. And it'll head back all the way back through here and back to the helix and back up. Probably starting this week, I'm going to start working on the display case that's going to go right here. I'm going to go buy some 1x8s on Monday, and we're going to build one that goes this entire length. It's about 7 foot, and it'll be about 7 foot tall. And this way I can start getting all the cars up. All the HO cars that I want to keep, that I hand painted all the graffiti on, we'll be able to put them on display over there. I'll be able to cover it and keep it looking good. So there is a lot to be done. We're going to have a lot of stuff coming. Look for if you've liked and subscribed, you'll get the notice about it. We're going to have the poll up about doing more live streams. again, that way if you're subscribed, you'll know when they'll happen and what days we'll have them on, because it's going to shift around until we kind of get into a groove about what's going to be the best day. We're going to have, oh yeah, I should talk about this. Starting next week, or this, well, actually, the ones that have already happened, anybody that does super chats and stuff with us, we will have, we're going to get it set up. We'll have posts about this. We'll need to be able to get your contact information because we will do a special live feed for that. That won't be counted against any of the ones that everybody else gets to see. It'll just be an additional one we add on to it. So like 1 week we may have 4 live feeds, and one of them being for the people that have done the super chats and the gifts and things like that. So anyway, but I appreciate everything that you guys have done as far as staying with us and helping this channel grow. And we've got a lot to do. There's a lot of wiring coming up. We're going to, like I said, this whole corner will be finished by next week, so we can start moving down this way and over into this area right here. And I do have an order for an elevated track that I'm going to start this next week. That's going to look similar to this, but while I'm working on his, I'm going to make the double here. So we've got lots of stuff coming. So if you've enjoyed it, thank you for being here, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for liking, and share it with a friend if you know somebody may like this, and we'll just be here. So our next one tentatively will be either Tuesday or Wednesday this week. We're not sure, and then one towards the end of the week, and then again on the weekend. So if you have any questions, just post it. If you got something you want to share, Gabe, you want to set this up? If you've got something you want to share with us as far as pictures go or anything like that, or anything that you're working on, our community area has got a place there where you can post images, videos, whatever you'd like. So
Did you see the comments?
No.
Steven says a lot of work ahead of you.
Yes, there's a lot of work.
LEDs in separate windows.
Do what now? Oh, lighting this up. We will actually, these things right here that go, these are our supports that go inside. This is going to basically identify different levels, and we will have LEDs for each of those levels. So we can have like if they're cleaning the upper floors and stuff, we can have more lights on up here, less here, and all that. And all the windows will have treatments of some sort, some kind of a shade, an awning, blinds, whatever. Some rooms will actually even create the room on the back side, so when we're videoing and filming, you have all your rooms like lights on and stuff, and you'll actually be able to see in some of the rooms. So that's all coming.
Foxy Dog says a lot of work. It'll be so worth it when you're done and for us to see. Don't forget to build a veterinarian clinic.
Veterinarian clinic. Probably will. We've had a lot of requests for different buildings, and we may put a vote up about that on some of the stuff. I know we're going to, there's some really, one person said, what was it? Just last week there was something, it was really a cool idea too. Well, we've got it back in the notes.
Oh, about the window washer?
No.
What was it for?
No, it was a building that somebody suggested. Oh, and we will have that, him mentioning the window washer, we will have days that we just put the camera on, like we'll put it here in the corner, we'll aim over here, once we get a lot of stuff in place, we're gonna have a ton of Easter eggs, to where you can just, we're gonna put a thing over the description that says, see if you can find, and we'll just leave it on, let the trains run, and then like on the building, like, so we suggest having a window washer where it's like angled like he's just hanging on to it, and maybe have Spider-Man on one building. We'll have like the bus stop with all the South Park kids all lined up waiting for the bus. And we'll just list that over the description. We'll see if you guys can find them. So that's all coming. So just lots of interactive things coming up with this. All right, was there anything else?
Crochet Lady says San Juan Capistrano, pretty station. I'd like to see Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday for live videos.
Thursday, Saturday. Well, we won't do 2 days in a row because we got to have some time on the weekend for ourselves. So it'll be like either a Thursday, Sunday, or a Friday, Sunday, and then just some day during the week. Try to space it like 2 to 3 days apart between the Sunday and the Friday. All right. So again, thank you for being here, and we will have a lot of stuff coming up in the posts describing things coming up and options for us to be doing that you guys can vote on or put your input in on. We'll take all of it into account and help decide which way we go with this. All right. Well, now we're past 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. We hope you have a good rest of Sunday. We were actually supposed to be kind of nasty today, but it's actually pretty nice.
I told him I showed him the I-beams.
Oh, okay. He's going to go with the I-beams and show you what printed off. that we just did for this area right here. These, what he printed were the ones that are gonna go here, 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 here. And then this week we'll print all the ones that go around the curve right here, and you'll see that before we cover it all up with the styrene. You'll be able to see everything there. So we'll have that, probably by next time we get together. Because that won't take us long to start making the measurements and figuring out what we gotta have. You saw how fast it was. It took, what, 20 minutes to print these 6 to do these. We're probably looking about an hour and a half. And then we'll have basically the foundation done for up here. So what I am gonna do is this is gonna move out a little ways over the opening right here, probably right here. And I may take, however far it comes out, like an inch, I may take some styrene and bring it down and put the foundation for this so it matches. So it's not like this would not be supported by I-beams of this. You'd have to have a concrete foundation going down. So I may put like a concrete foundation right here to match underneath there, so that I can bring this out over into this area a little bit. But this is all gonna be park area right here, and maybe some concessions and things like that. Maybe even a Ferris wheel. Might put a big Ferris wheel right here. That might be really cool. A lot of downtowns have a big Ferris wheel. So we could put a big one, like maybe even one that operates, put it right here. And that's something I hadn't even thought of.
Yeah.
Just putting, because all the big, look at London downtown,
Right.
look at, down by Navy Pier in Chicago, they all got big Ferris wheels.
Yeah.
That might look really good right here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, there's an idea. I was just sitting here spitballing. So, okay.
Foxy says, "Have a great Sunday."
You too. Okay, here are the
Here
beams.
are the.
All I got to do is, like I showed you before, is I've just got to strip all the support,
There we go.
strip all the supports off, and do the sanding, and we'll be finished. So those will all be in place. We'll have all the others done. This is going to look really good when we get to that point. I like that idea. That Ferris.
Yeah.
We may have to find an in-scale one. I think Hebrew makes those in in-scale. But we'll have to either find one from it's already made, or we'll just have to get a STL file and build one.
Yeah.
That'll look really good right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll be fun. Well, anyway, so.
Jesus says hello.
Hello. Glad you joined us. Sorry, we're just going to log off for the day, but we will be back either Tuesday or Wednesday. Again, look for the posts, like and subscribe so you don't miss anything. And we will see you at the next one. So have a good one, everybody.